Hello everybody, welcome to my channel.
Frank Langella, born January 1, 1938, in Bayonne, New Jersey, USA, is an American stage and screen actor renowned for his commanding presence, deep voice, and versatility across genres. Over a career spanning more than 6 decades, Langella has earned acclaim for his work in theater, film, and television, establishing himself as one of America's most distinguished performers. Early life and education. Frank A. Langella Jr. was born to Angelina and Frank A. Langella Sr., an Italian-American family. He grew up in New Jersey and attended Columbia High School in Maplewood. Langella later graduated from Syracuse University in 1959 with a Bachelor of Arts degree in drama. His classical training and early exposure to stage performance shaped his lifelong devotion to theater. Stage career. Langella first made his mark in the New York theater scene during the 1960s, performing in off-Broadway and regional productions. He gained national attention with his role as Count Dracula in the 1977 Broadway revival of Dracula, directed by Dennis Rosa. His performance was so magnetic that he reprised the role in the 1979 film adaptation, solidifying his image as a suave, sophisticated, and sinister Dracula, a defining portrayal for his generation. Throughout his stage career, Langella became a 4-time Tony Award winner for Best Actor, receiving recognition for Seascape, 1975, Fortune's Fool, 2002, Frost, Nixon, 2007, The Father, 2016. He has also performed in numerous other acclaimed productions, including Amadeus, The Tempest, and Man and Boy. Langella is widely praised for his ability to inhabit complex, morally ambiguous characters with intelligence and emotional depth. Film and television career. In film, Langella is known for both leading and character roles that display his intensity and sophistication. Some of his most notable performances include Dracula, 1979, his breakout film role; Dave, 1993, as the intimidating White House Chief of Staff, Bob Alexander; Good Night and Good Luck, 2005, as CBS Chief Executive William Paley; Frost, Nixon, 2008, portraying President Richard Nixon, a role that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor; Robot and Frank, 2012, a touching sci-fi drama in which he starred as an aging ex-thief cared for by a robot. Langella has also appeared in numerous television productions, including The Americans, Kidding, and The Trial of the Chicago 7, 2020 film on Netflix, where he played Judge Julius Hoffman. Acting style and legacy. Frank Langella is celebrated for his graceful diction, commanding presence, and intellectual approach to his roles. Critics have often compared his work to that of classic stage legends for his dedication to character development and mastery of Shakespearean and contemporary dialogue alike. Beyond acting, Langella is also an accomplished writer. His memoir, Drop Names, Famous Men and Women as I Knew Them, 2012, offers candid, often poignant reflections on his encounters with many prominent figures in entertainment and politics throughout his life. Personal life. Langella was married to actress Ruth Weil from 1977 until their divorce in 1996, and they have 2 children. He later had a long-term relationship with actress Whoopi Goldberg in the 1990s. Langella is known for his privacy and for maintaining a dignified, old-world aura both on and off stage. Frank Langella, the commanding voice of American theater and film. Early life and education. Frank A. Langella Jr. was born on January 1, 1938, in Bayonne, New Jersey, to Italian-American parents. His father, Frank A. Langella Sr., worked as a business executive, and his mother, Angelina, was a homemaker. Raised in a Catholic household, Langella developed an early interest in storytelling and performance, inspired by movies and literature. He attended Columbia High School in Maplewood, New Jersey, and quickly stood out in school plays for his charisma and natural acting ability. Langella then enrolled at Syracuse University, where he graduated with a Bachelor of Arts degree in drama in 1959. At Syracuse, he studied classical acting, learning the techniques of Shakespeare and Chekhov, and laying the foundation for the commanding presence that would later define his career. After graduation, Langella moved to New York City to pursue acting full-time. He began performing in small off-Broadway venues and summer stock theaters, refining his craft in a competitive environment that demanded discipline and versatility. Theater career. From Dracula to Broadway royalty, Frank Langella's name became synonymous with excellence on stage long before Hollywood took notice. His early stage work in the 1960s included performances in Yerma, The Old Glory, and A Cry of Players. Critics praised his ability to embody both classical and contemporary roles with equal precision. His breakout came in 1977 when he starred as Count Dracula in the Broadway revival of Dracula. Langella's portrayal was a revelation, romantic, dangerous, and deeply charismatic. He redefined the vampire archetype from a monstrous creature to an elegant, seductive figure. The performance earned him a Tony Award nomination and made him a household name in the theater world. Langella continued to dominate Broadway with a series of acclaimed performances. Seascape, 1975, won his first Tony Award for Best Featured Actor in a Play. Amadeus, 1981, played Antonio Salieri in the U.S. premiere, before F. Murray Abraham's film version. Fortune's Fool, 2002, earned him another Tony Award for Best Actor. Frost Nixon, 2007, delivered one of the defining performances of his career as Richard Nixon, earning rave reviews and his third Tony Award. The Father, 2016, portrayed a man descending into dementia, a heartbreaking and profound performance that earned him his fourth Tony Award. Langella's stage performances are renowned for their gravitas. He commands the stage with a stillness and focus that few actors achieve, relying not on volume or movement but on psychological intensity and emotional precision. Film career. From Gothic charisma to political power. Although Langella's reputation was built in the theater, his transition to film was equally successful. His first major movie role came in Mel Brooks's The 12 Chairs, 1970, where his charm and wit were immediately apparent. However, it was John Badham's Dracula, 1979, that made him an international film star. Reprising his stage role, Langella portrayed the Count with tragic depth and sensual magnetism, earning praise for bringing intelligence and sophistication to a character often played as camp. In the decades that followed, Langella became a sought-after character actor, appearing in a diverse range of films. Masters of the Universe, 1987, as Skeletor, a flamboyant and scene-stealing villain. Dave, 1993, as a calculating political operative. Good Night and Good Luck, 2005, as CBS executive William Paley. Starting Out in the Evening, 2007, as an aging novelist seeking relevance, one of his most sensitive performances. Frost Nixon, 2008, reprising his stage role as President Richard Nixon, a performance that earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor. Robot and Frank, 2012, a poignant sci-fi film where he played an aging ex-thief befriending a robot caretaker. The Trial of the Chicago 7, 2020, as Judge Julius Hoffman, whose rigid conservatism provided a chilling portrait of power and bias. Langella's filmography reflects his ability to balance authority and vulnerability, often portraying powerful men wrestling with failure, guilt, or inner conflict. Television and later work. Langella has also had a strong presence on television. He appeared in productions such as The Americans, Law and Order, SVU, and Kidding, with Jim Carrey, continuing to bring intensity and intelligence to every role. In 2020, he appeared in Aaron Sorkin's The Trial of the Chicago 7, one of his final major roles before controversy led to his dismissal from a later Netflix project, The Fall of the House of Usher. Despite this, his legacy as a commanding actor remained intact among peers and audiences alike. Writing and personal reflections. In 2012, Langella published his memoir, Dropped Names: Famous Men and Women as I Knew Them, a collection of personal stories about the many celebrities and historical figures he encountered throughout his life. Written with elegance and honesty, the book was praised for its literary quality and candor. Langella's reflections reveal both humility and insight, as he discusses fame, ego, and the fragility of human connection. Personal life. Langella was married to Ruth Weil from 1977 to 1996, and the couple had 2 children. He later had a well-known relationship with Whoopi Goldberg, which lasted several years in the 1990s. A deeply private man, Langella has often avoided the trappings of celebrity culture, preferring to let his work speak for itself. He has lived quietly in New York, maintaining lifelong ties to the theater community that shaped him. Legacy and influence. Frank Langella is regarded as one of the great American actors of his generation, standing alongside performers like Christopher Plummer, Ian McKellen, and Brian Cox. His career embodies the enduring power of theater and the art of transformation. He is celebrated not only for his deep, resonant voice and physical presence but also for his psychological depth, the ability to reveal the contradictions and frailties within powerful men. From the seductive darkness of Dracula to the haunted humanity of Nixon, Langella's performances reveal the full spectrum of ambition, regret, and redemption. As critics have often said, Frank Langella doesn't just play characters, he inhabits them. Frank Langella, the master of presence. Frank Langella has never been one to shout for attention. His power lies in stillness, in the slow, deliberate way he occupies a space, the measured turn of his head, the gravity in his voice. For more than 6 decades, Langella has defined a kind of acting that feels timeless, regal yet human, intellectual yet deeply emotional. He's the kind of performer whose every word demands your attention. Not because he asks for it, but because it's impossible to look away. A Jersey boy with a classical soul, born on New Year's Day, 1938, in Bayonne, New Jersey, Frank A. Langella Jr. was the son of Italian-American parents who valued discipline and tradition. His father was a successful executive, and his mother was nurturing but strong-minded. The young Frank grew up fascinated by movies, especially those starring the great stage-trained actors of the mid-20th century. Even as a boy, he displayed a gift for mimicry and emotional intelligence. While other children dreamed of baseball stardom, Langella was reading Shakespeare. At Syracuse University, he studied drama, drawn to the structure and poetry of classical theater. He once said that performing on stage gave him a sense of purpose, a feeling of belonging to something ancient and important. After college, he moved to New York City in the early 1960s, a time when the city was alive with artistic experimentation. He worked small jobs, auditioned relentlessly, and slowly built a reputation as an actor of depth and seriousness. Conquering the stage. Langella's early theater career was defined by intensity and elegance. His performance in Yerma, 1961, and other off-Broadway productions drew praise, but it was Seascape, 1975, by Edward Albee that earned him his first Tony Award. Critics called him a creature of grace and danger, capable of evoking empathy even when his characters were unsettling or strange. Then came Dracula. In 1977, Langella stepped into the cape of Bram Stoker's immortal vampire on Broadway, and changed how audiences thought about the character. Gone was the monstrous, bloodthirsty creature of old films. Langella's Dracula was magnetic, intelligent, and erotic. He seduced not just the women on stage but everyone in the audience. Dracula, Langella later said, is about loneliness. He's a man trapped by immortality. I didn't want him to be a monster, I wanted him to be tragic. The performance earned him critical raves and turned him into a star. When Universal adapted the play for film in 1979, Langella reprised the role opposite Laurence Olivier as Van Helsing. His haunting eyes and smooth baritone made him one of the most memorable Draculas in cinema history. From Broadway to Hollywood, Hollywood soon discovered that Langella's talents extended far beyond Gothic romance. In the decades that followed, he appeared in a diverse range of films that showcased his range. In Masters of the Universe, 1987, he played Skeletor with Shakespearean grandeur, transforming a cartoon villain into a darkly operatic figure. Langella later said his son was the reason he took the role. He loved the character, and I thought, why not make him proud? In Dave, 1993, he portrayed a ruthless political manipulator, a perfect foil to Kevin Kline's idealistic president. In Good Night and Good Luck, 2005, he was the imposing network executive William Paley, standing toe-to-toe with George Clooney and David Strathairn. But his defining screen role came with Ron Howard's Frost, Nixon, 2008. Reprising his Tony Award-winning stage performance as President Richard Nixon, Langella gave the disgraced leader a surprising depth, weary, paranoid, and human. His portrayal was not imitation but transformation. The performance earned him an Academy Award nomination for Best Actor, as well as universal acclaim. Critics said Langella had done the impossible. He made audiences feel empathy for Richard Nixon. The later years, reflection and mastery. In the 2010s, Langella entered a new chapter, one marked by reflection and vulnerability. In Starting Out in the Evening, 2007, he played an aging novelist confronting the loss of relevance. In Robot and Frank, 2012, he portrayed a retired thief who forms a strange friendship with a robot caretaker. Both roles were deeply human, tinged with melancholy and humor. Langella's 2016 performance in The Father on Broadway earned him his fourth Tony Award. Playing a man slipping into dementia, he delivered one of the most emotionally raw performances of his career. Reviewers called it devastatingly real, a masterclass in restraint and heartbreak. He continued to appear in major projects, including The Americans, Kidding, and The Trial of the Chicago 7, 2020, in which he played the stern and biased judge Julius Hoffman, the writer behind The Actor. In 2012, Langella released his memoir, Dropped Names, Famous Men and Women as I Knew Them, a candid collection of personal essays about the extraordinary people he encountered, from Elizabeth Taylor and Marilyn Monroe to Jackie Kennedy and John Gielgud. The book wasn't gossip. It was literature. Langella wrote with elegance, wit, and melancholy, capturing the fleeting nature of fame and friendship. He described his relationships with compassion but without flattery, admitting his own flaws and insecurities. Actors, he wrote, spend a lifetime pretending to be other people because they can't bear to be themselves. The memoir revealed a man both confident and introspective, someone who saw art not as a profession, but as a lifelong search for truth. Private life and personality. Langella's personal life has always been kept relatively private. He was married to Ruth Weil from 1977 to 1996. And they had 2 children together. His later relationship with Whoopi Goldberg attracted public attention, though he typically avoided discussing it. Those who know him describe him as disciplined, witty, and occasionally intimidating, a man who demands seriousness in a world that often trivializes art. He's also known for mentoring younger actors, reminding them that the work is the reward. Legacy. The last of the great stage titans in an era of instant fame and fleeting celebrity, Frank Langella represents something enduring: craft, dignity, and devotion to the art of acting. He belongs to a lineage of performers, Laurence Olivier, Ralph Richardson, Paul Scofield, who viewed acting as a noble calling rather than a career. His performances are built not on gimmick but on psychological truth. He doesn't play roles, he excavates them. Critic John Lahr once wrote of him, "Langella doesn't just command the stage, he commands time itself. When he speaks, the air changes." Today, even as he steps back from the spotlight, Frank Langella remains a model for generations of actors. His voice, smooth, resonant, unhurried, continues to echo through the great halls of American theater. Because for Langella, the stage was never just a platform. It was home. Frank Langella. A life in performance, a career of relentless transformation. Few actors have traveled the artistic distance that Frank Langella has, from a fresh-faced graduate on off-Broadway stages in the early 1960s to one of America's most respected and decorated performers. His career has never been defined by one era or genre. Rather, it has been an ongoing evolution.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.